Right now, this very second, Akshay Nanavati is freely and independently exploring Antarctica. Yes, the very thing flat earthers say you cannot do is being done right now. For years, flat earthers claimed that Antarctica was closed. For years, flat earthers claimed you are not allowed to go to Antarctica.
When you come to what we should have, if the heliocentric model is true, then 6 months later, you now have sunlight. The Earth is on the opposite side of the sun, and you would get the same effect if you're in the 66 parallel, below the 66 parallel south in the Antarctic Circle. Okay. Now you have some problems. First off, we're not even allowed to go there because of the longest standing treaty in mankind, the Antarctic Treaty. We're not allowed below the 60th. I think it's the 60th, might be the 66th parallel south, but you're not allowed to go there.
For years, flat earthers claimed you could not go past the 60th south latitude.
But anyway, if you didn't know, we don't have a working flat Earth model because one, we're not allowed to go to the North Pole, and two, we're not allowed to go past the 60th south latitude right here.
For years, flat earthers claimed that you could not even step foot in Antarctica.
Excluding overpriced chaperoned penguin tours and government-approved contractors, nobody is allowed to step foot in Antarctica, especially not during winter solstice when there should supposedly be constant 24-hour sunlight.
And for years, flat earthers claimed that if you tried to go to Antarctica, you would be turned around by Navy warships.
This ship is designed to cut through the ice and come and find you. Now, the only way that this Royal Navy ship is going to come looking for you in the ice is if you make it past 60th parallel. And at the 60th parallel, you will be turned around by just your average Navy warship. Whether it's China, America, Russia, whatever country you are close to, when you get to that 60th parallel, that country's Navy is going to send a cruiser or a warship out to turn you around. They are the first line of defense. The final line of defense is this Royal Navy ship right here.
Now, before Nathan Oakley fans contact me and tell me that Nathan Oakley would never say such things because he doesn't make positive claims, even Nathan Oakley has said this as well. He said, "See the edge of the real world, but don't try to go, as you will get turned back at gunpoint. Antarctica is all around us. It's keeping in all the perfectly flat water." Now, when I unveiled the final experiment at the beginning of this year, the narrative from flat earthers began to change. They started to distance themselves from these types of claims they've been making all these years. And they started saying, okay, yes, you can go to Antarctica, but you can't freely and privately explore Antarctica. Well, this is also false. You can freely and privately explore Antarctica. Akshay Nanavati is doing just that right now. Check it out.
My name is Akshay Nanavati. I'm a Marine Corps veteran, an adventurer, and the author and founder of Fear of Honor. I am currently in the Arctic, training my mind, body, and spirit to make the first ever human-powered crossing of Antarctica without dogs or wind power. I will be spending 110 days completely alone in the most hostile, unforgiving, and savage environment on the planet, dragging a 400-pound sled for over 12 hours a day for 1,700 miles to make this crossing of the continent.
It does not get more free or more independent than traversing Antarctica alone, which is what Akshay is doing as we speak. Now, before we check in on his progress, here is a little of the backstory, and this actually ties his trip in with TFE.
To make a crossing of Antarctica costs $750,000. This is not a number I just randomly came up with. This was a number given to me by Antarctic Logistics and Expeditions, ALE, because we are flying to some of the most remote regions of the world. Just that flight from Union Glacier, the base camp in Antarctica, to the Bay of Whales, my start point, is a $250,000 flight. The flight to Antarctica alone is over $60,000. We are paying for a support team, a logistical crew, a safety team to support me while I'm on the ice and to provide that safety. So this is just what it takes to accomplish something so grand and so impossible.
As you heard, he is also using ALE to get to Antarctica. In my opinion, they are the best company in the world when it comes to Antarctic travel and private exploration of Antarctica. And no, they are not paying me to say that. On the contrary, I've written some very big checks to them, but was happy to, as we need a solid, reputable company to get us deep into Antarctica, which is where we need to be to properly conduct the final experiment. Now, Akshay ran into some weather delays at the start of his trip on November 1st of this month.
Hello, my friends. I'm here at Punta Arenas with my wife. It has currently been about 2 extra days of waiting to get to Antarctica, to get to Union Glacier. It's too windy right now for the plane to land, but we're crossing our fingers. It's looking like there's a good shot for tomorrow. So hopefully I'll be out there and getting ready to start this journey very soon.
As you heard, he began his journey in Punta Arenas, the same place we will begin our journey in just a few weeks. After the weather delay, on November 9th, ALE flew him from Union Glacier to Berkner Island to begin his trek across Antarctica from the coastline. It's really cool as he is wearing a live tracker, so you can follow his progress step by step live at his website, fearvana.com. Now, I wish him the best. Taking on a solo crossing of Antarctica is no cakewalk. Now, flat earthers, I do have a request. Would you please stop saying that people cannot freely and privately explore Antarctica? We all make mistakes, so this is not that big of a deal. Just admit you were wrong and let's move on. Now, I've been trying to anticipate what flat earthers might say in response to this video, and the only thing I can come up with is they might say that you can't freely and independently explore Antarctica without permission. And if that's what you want to argue, that's a pretty poor argument that has not been well thought out. Most places in the world cannot be freely and independently explored without permission. Even the government authorities need to obtain a search warrant from a court before they are able to freely and independently search private property. Think about it. I can't freely and independently explore your house without your permission, anyone's house for that matter. And since most land in the world is owned by someone, they have the right to grant permission for you to be on their land or not. You can't even climb Mount Everest without permission from the Nepalese government. The list goes on and on. So if your only argument is going to be that you want to explore Antarctica without permission, then you want to do something that can't be done in most of the rest of the world. But here's the real question. If you really think the Earth is flat, if you really believe the globe is a massive conspiracy, if you really think there is a firmament, a dome in Antarctica, or maybe other lands beyond Antarctica, wouldn't you just simply ask permission in order to prove this? What am I missing here? If all you had to do was ask permission, and you know permission is frequently granted, then why wouldn't you just do that? Now, I know it's easier to say Antarctica is closed and Antarctica is off limits and no one is allowed past the 60th South parallel and you'll be turned away at gunpoint if you try. But none of that is true. Anyone can go to Antarctica. Anyone can go below the 60th South latitude. And anyone can go to Antarctica alone if you really want to. So when are you going to just do it? But here's the last question I have. Akshay is crossing Antarctica. That seems impossible on a flat Earth. He started at Berkner Island, which is south and east of the tip of South America. And if he's successful in his journey to the South Pole and then to the other side of Antarctica, he will end up at the Bay of Whales, which is almost directly south of New Zealand, just slightly east. So if I grab my Gleason's map here, he will start here, and then he's going to head south, which on a flat Earth is away from the North Pole, and he's going to continue heading south until he gets to here. How exactly does that work on a flat Earth? Let me know in the comments below. And here is Akshay with some final words.
Thank you so much for your contribution, and I look forward to seeing you on the other side of Antarctica.